and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa Hart and this is Lisa Hart Fitness. Today we are continuing week 2 of our postnatal recovery program with this core reconditioning and stability based workout. For this workout you will require the use of a chair for some of the moves. Make sure that you do have a mat for some of our supine moves. We're going to get started with the seated section though, so grab the chair that you have at hand. And when you're seated comfortably and you're standing nice and tall, so we're keeping that neutral alignment, we're going to start with some leg raises. So planting that foot back down nice and firmly, we're lifting the leg up as far as we can with comfort. With each exhale, try and make sure that you're contracting that core. And then in 5 seconds we're going to get up for our chair squats. 2, 1. So coming up for a chair squat and then seat ourselves back down. Remember when we're doing our squats that we want to push our hips back as we sink into the chair. We're not using the quads to get back up. We're trying to hinge at the hips as much as possible. And we don't want to see too much of our knees coming forward over our toes. And then we're going back down and more leg raises. You can do knees over toes for some squat moves, but because we're trying to really stabilise everything, you want to try and keep things in as much of a safe alignment as possible. So exhale as you bring each knee up. And you can exaggerate your exhale as well, that helps. And then we come up for the chair squat. And bring that down. This move is basically just trying to get you ready to do a squat that's unassisted. Now obviously we did do squats unassisted on Monday, but this just helps you to re-stabilise, re-engage and get ready for the next workout. And standing up. Now we're going to come down onto the floor for our supine and our prone positions. Okay, so now we're on the floor, we're going to start with our prone position and I want you to get into an all fours position. We're going to start with some leg kickbacks. But instead of kicking and raising, we're just tapping them behind. What I want you to try and focus on each time that you're pushing it back is that we're keeping our hips nice and neutral, so there's not too much twisting or rotation like this. Try and keep it nice and positioned towards the floor. And now what I want you to do is to raise the arms, so stabilise your legs and raise the arms one at a time. Engage that core as much as possible. And if you can do some pelvic floor activations. So bringing everything in at your 4 points of 12, 6, 3 and 9. And then in 5 seconds we're going to do quad rockers. 3, 2, 1. So this just helps to loosen up the wrists that have had a lot of strain on them from the last 2 moves. Really sink back into that back position of the quad rocker. And if you need to, you can widen your hips so you can put the legs further apart. And we're going to come back into our leg extensions in 3, 2, 1. So stabilise and then tap back. If you find this a challenge, you can widen your hands a bit so they're a bit wider than shoulder width. But we want to try and keep our shoulders and our wrists in line with one another. And then into arm raises, in 2, 1. So these moves are really getting us ready to do bird dog. which is obviously a more complex version of the two moves that we're doing right now, so it combines the two. And bird dog is a great one for reconditioning that core that's been affected so much during pregnancy and during labour. So keeping that arm nice and straight as you raise it. If you can raise it a little bit further, great. And now we're going back into quad rockers. So sinking back, come forward. You can look forward during this, or you can look down. I find looking down is a little bit more easier, because I find that sometimes if you're looking up, you may arch your back more. But if you want a little bit of a rest from looking down, then you can look up for a little bit. 2, 1, okay. So now we're going to come onto our back for some supine based exercises. This is something quite nice because during pregnancy you can't be on your back for too long. So coming down to your side first, roll onto your back. What I'm going to do is place your hands by your side, and we're going to start with some bridges. So coming up and lowering down. As you come up, exhale and contract. As you come down, expand the belly. Only go up as far as you feel comfortable. We're trying to, remember, tuck that tailbone underneath and have a nice straight alignment down through our core and up to our legs. Going into some leg slides. So with this one, you want to keep your heel connected with the floor at all times, and we're just lowering that leg down and then raising it back up. Again, if you feel like this is slightly challenging, similar to one of the moves we did on Monday, you can hold the core, as particularly where the incision is if you had a C-section, just to give you some added support. And then going into some heel raises. So this time, you want to tilt your feet at a slight angle, so almost like a 45-degree angle. Make sure that we are pressing the lower back into the floor so we're not creating an arch. And we're just lifting one heel at a time. And then we're going to go into some leg drops on the side. So isolate one leg at a time, and drop it only as far as you feel comfortable. So you may not be able to get your knee all the way to the floor to start off with. And you want to make sure that you are not rotating too much, so really focus on keeping that neutral alignment. You're trying to press that back into the floor. There's quite a lot to remember, but you've got to really focus on each part. And lastly, we're going to some pelvic tilts. So what you're going to do is to bring your hips down and then roll them back up. And you should be creating an arch and then flattening that back into the floor. This one might be the most challenging that we've done out of the floor ones, but it's really worth it. And we're going back into our bridges, so widen those feet if you need to. And we're coming up and down. As you can see with each move, we're not doing anything too fast, we're not trying to power bridge or anything like that. We're just doing nice and controlled movements and trying to re-engage that core and focusing on that reconditioning element. Back into your leg slides. So depending on what footwear you've got on and how your floor or the mat that you're using is, this might feel a little bit jaggedy as you're doing it, but as long as you try and keep that movement going, it will still work. Pressing into the back of the floor as much as you can. And then we're coming into our heel raises. So remember, 45-degree angle of the feet to the floor and pushing that back into the floor as well. The more confident you get, you can start to raise the leg more towards the chest. Into your leg drops. Remember, try and keep those hips nice and neutral. If you need to, you can support the hips during this move. And back into our pelvic tilt. So bring the legs up slightly and come down and then tuck under. And again, you can contract as you pull everything up. And last one. Okay, so roll up nice and slowly. Remember, always take your time when moving from any changes in level. And that's everything for week 2 in terms of workouts. On Friday I'll be providing something a little bit different. I won't be providing a workout, but what I want you to do is focus on those 2 workouts that I've given to you. You can choose to do one or the other twice. It doesn't matter which one you do twice, but at least try and do 3 workouts this week. If you like this video, please make sure that you do give it the thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and keep an eye on all our postnatal content that's rolling out in the next few weeks. Bye for now.
Standing in the shadows of where we have been, sleeping with your back facing me. I know this isn't us. Baby, pull me closer, let's fall